Welcome to Social Antipasti Podcast with Paolo Fabrizio.
Hi everybody, today I've got a very special guest from the United States and we'll be talking about the importance of online reviews. Let's go!
Use social customer service to stand out from your competitors.
Hi everybody and welcome to the Social Antipasti Podcast. Today I'm very happy to be hosting a special guest from the United States. I have here Carley Bakker. Hello Carley, how are you doing?
I am great, Paolo. How are you doing this evening for you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Really fine. I started the week in the best way possible, and I'm so glad that you joined me tonight. I say tonight because it's tonight here in Italy. The first question that I usually ask is a known question because I want my guest to introduce herself. So, who is Carley Bakker? Tell us about your specialties and what you like to do the most.
Well, I'm a online reputation management consultant. I actually got started down in Mexico one morning just shortly after college. I hopped into my car, drove down to Mexico one rainy Vancouver morning. And it's there that I opened up, and I say rainy because it does rain in Vancouver a lot. I opened up a CKK Internet Marketing, had a chance to work with world-class brands like the Ritz-Carlton Residences and Jack Nicklaus. And then in 2011, a Fortune 500 company approached me, and they had hired a PR firm out of New York. They had have two floors of PR and marketing executives, had asked other vendors, and were just at their wits' end with Yelp. They had a number of reviews. They were all negative. They were 1 or 2 stars. And what was happening is when someone Googled the company name, up popped their Yelp page right below or sometimes right above their website. So it was in the first or second spot of Google. They were losing 35 to 40% of their online sales as a result of their Yelp. Yes. So whether, you're this billion-dollar company or a small company, that's still a lot of money. And so I'm happy to say that I worked with them through a period of about a year to improve their star rating and increase the number of positive reviews so that when someone does Google them, that they pop up and have a positive online reputation. So it was in 2011 that really my focus turned from more of a digital marketing realm to specifically the niche of Yelp. And 5 years later, I'm still in the area of Yelp. That's all I do. I specialize in it. I'm a Yelp expert, an online reputation management specialist, and have had the opportunity to go down to Yelp's office, but I focus and help companies in the area of Yelp.
That's fine. That's very interesting. Do you want just to add your personal hobbies or interests?
Well, let's see. When I'm not working, when I'm not speaking or traveling, I love spending time out on the water. So I'm a sailor as well as a power boater, and absolutely love it. And in the desert, there isn't a lot of water, but, but when I make it up to Southern California, or even to the Pacific Northwest, is when I definitely get out on the water. So yeah,
that's lovely. That's lovely, Carley. You've already introduced a very niche topic, which is Yelp and online reputation management, which will be the main focus, the main topic of this podcast. Do you think that brands have to take their online reputation seriously? If so, why in general?
Well, it depends on the brand, Paolo. The internet has created that opportunity for what was a monologue to now a dialogue. So customers now have a voice, and they certainly do use it. So if a brand hasn't realized the impact of the customer voice in today's business world, then they're probably not going to take it serious.
So it's up to the approach of the brand. Not only is a technological aspect, rather also a cultural approach of the brand itself.
Yes, and I think it just comes down to that if they haven't had if a brand hasn't had an experience, probably a negative one, or doesn't know of a company that hasn't had or that has had a negative one, they probably aren't going to pay as much attention to their online reputation. So here's an example. I worked with a mortgage company. They're an industry I work with, and they didn't take notice of their online reputation for years until all of a sudden Yelp became a thorn in their side. And when you would Google that company name, up would pop again the Yelp page, because Yelp seems to get into the into the top 3 positions of Google. And so what was happening is they were losing money, but they were also losing employees, because people would see this terrible Yelp review.
Oh.
And so people didn't want to come work for them, because in the mortgage industry, it's based on customer relationships.
Yes.
There's loan officers. So they had a struggle getting loan officers. And so they didn't take that seriously. That brand didn't take it seriously until they had to, because it was now starting to affect sales and the way that they operated their business. So sometimes it takes a major event like that to happen, meaning their Yelp page is now being looked at by, their prospective customers in order to do something about it.
Right.
So that company took it seriously, but they initially, say 5 years prior, did not. And sometimes it takes a company to have that experience in order to take it seriously.
Yeah, so they reacted just after the crash.
So we did a reactive, and today they're sitting at a 4-star rating, and it took them probably about 6 months we walk them through a series of steps or strategies, and today they're at a 4-star rating.
Right. That's a very interesting aspect. In fact, my following question is how online reviews affect reputation or business results. Is there a specific mathematic connection, or it depends on the specific industry?
There is. So if you're looking to increase your sales, which I think all of us are planning on doing that, or want to do that, that's why we're in business. That's kind of a fact. So 78% of people turn to review sites like Yelp, like Angie's List, and there's a bunch of others, to find local businesses. And so when people visit Yelp, 89% of people make a purchase within 1 week. So people are far along in the business cycle. And Yelp is that number 1 review site people turn to. Harvard actually did a study a few years ago and said that for every star rating that you lose, so if you're at 5 and you go down to a 4 or a 3 or a 2 or a 1, you lose sales up to 9%.
Wow.
So if you think about you're at a 5 and you go down to a 1, well, that's close to almost 50% of your sales are going to decline. And I've seen that time and time and time again, where it is that your star rating has a correlation to your sales revenue. And, Harvard came out with this. Harvard's quite a big school within the United States. And so this is their stats that they came out with. And so there is that. It does affect your business results at the end of the day. And it can go the opposite, Paulo, where if somebody has a 1-star, a company or a brand has a 1-star rating, it can be increased to 5 stars and your revenue goes up.
Great. That's very interesting. That's something many brands should consider carefully. As most consumers check out brands on Google and Yelp before deciding to do business with them, how brands can increase positive reviews and mitigate negative ones?
That's a great question, and it's a question that I get asked a lot. So we are in an age where, I'm sure yourself, when you hear about a new company, you probably go to Google and you probably check them out.
Sure.
And you see, what are they about, who works for them, so you look. And that's the same thing with Yelp too. A lot of people will go and check out a Yelp account. So what's happening is that people go and they Google and check out a company, and up shows their Yelp page, usually above or below the company website. So you want to ask your loyal brand advocates. These are your loyal customers for reviews. Whether it's Yelp, it's Google, or it's another online review site, because this is going to help you increase the positive reviews. If you have negative reviews, you want to ensure your Yelp page has been claimed so that you can respond to positive and negative reviews. I recently saw a reviewer change the review on Yelp for, I think this was a mortgage company again, from a 2-star to a 3-star, because the mortgage company responded publicly to the review.
Oh, right.
That's it. And so even if you have negative reviews, there are examples just like the one I mentioned where reviewers can and will change a review, and then that affects your overall star rating. So it really starts, though, with good customer service.
Yeah. In fact, I was just about to to tell the same thing, because as I'm focused on customer service, I see a very strong relationship between, reacting and giving responses to online reviews, no matter if they're positive or negative, as a customer service, positive approach that any company should adopt. And if a customer sees that, the company is there to answer and to respond, even to negative online reviews, I think it's a sort of transparency that should always be appreciated by any kind of customers. As we use most of the times online tools, social networks, or just the web, we just need to be assured every time as customers, as consumers, that everybody, behind the brand, there are humans, there are real people. And I think that what you mentioned is the best way to say, okay, we're here, we're humans, we're not just a brand, and we take care about what you're saying about us.
Thank you.
Thanks to you. You gave me a very good link to customer
Good
service.
stuff.
Yeah. So let's imagine, Carly, that we're astronauts. You know the famous phrase, Houston, we have a problem.
Yes,
Right?
I've heard that many times.
Yeah, Houston, we have a problem. Okay, let's imagine that a brand is under attack because of an event which is not due to their direct responsibility. For instance, a server outage that prevents customers to access the brand's website. And so how a brand should respond to irate customers online, even though if the problem is not directly due to the brand.
Well, you know what? Whether you are a small business owner or a large company, it still feels like that, a personal attack, especially if you're a small business owner and managing your Yelp profile or your Google reviews or your online reputation. Or again, then you take that large company where it's like you're the social media manager or another position which oversees the reviews. The first thing that I always say to someone is breathe. Take that deep breath. You really need to do that because because you do feel like it's a personal attack. And I've been told that a lot of times. It's like, wow, we just want to say, you know what, you are wrong. And then they go, well, we can't because the whole world is seeing what that person has written online. So after you breathe, you want to respond publicly within minutes. Now, sometimes it's not always possible, but you know what? Within the day is an absolute must, but honestly within minutes, especially if it's a very derogative comment, as you know, it could potentially go viral. But thank the person. Let them know that you appreciate, you've heard what they've had to say, and let them know that here's a possible resolution to the problem or to the solution. Then respond privately. If there is a claim number or a reference number or something that relates to that person's complaint or beef, basically their unhappy review online, put that in the email as well, and an email address or a phone number that they can actually reach or call you at. Because when you do that, and I always say respond publicly, then privately. Publicly tells the world that you care. It's like, you know what, we acknowledge that we've heard you, because a lot of times that's what people want. They just want to be heard from a customer service standpoint and be provided with a solution. Privately goes into a little bit more detail about, here's some information. We've looked you up. We took that time to look you up, perhaps if you can, and then provide details of how to contact. A company has to engage in conversations through different social media channels or online reviews where their customers are at. We can't force customers, even from a customer service standpoint, to want to just connect with us only on Twitter.
Yes.
You know what? Your customer base is going to reach out to you in ways that they prefer. And so as a brand, you need to be there to be able to communicate back with them, whether it's positive or, an irate customer.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned also social networks that in which take place public conversations, and that's very important because it changed totally the rule of conversations between customers and brands. So, as social networks amplify customer experiences, what do you suggest to those brands who are still reluctant to be active or reactive online?
Well, I think we touched a little bit about this. Is
Yeah.
sometimes it takes an event for a company to brand or a brand to wake up and to be active on social media, so that they're not doing what we call reactive, meaning reacting to a situation that's gone bad. Uh, it's or it could be realizing through others' experiences that they need to be active, meaning it could
Mm-hmm.
be another company. With myself, with CKK Internet Marketing, when we've come to work with companies that haven't had a lot of social media, they haven't been active on social media, it's because somehow they've realized that they obviously need to be, but it's usually through storytelling. It's being able to share stories of how other companies have come to be using social media and the benefit that it's provided to them in terms of
Uh-huh.
being a business builder, generating more website traffic, and that again depends on the industry, and the type of business that it is. So usually I have found that that's usually the most successful way is through storytelling and sharing the benefits to that specific brand or company. A lot of times, though, I'll be honest, is the companies that I come to work with, they already understand the value of social media, and they understand that it is so important in today's world that they have to be active on social media and even review sites in order to be able to, especially social media, in order to be able to build their business and stay in business.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a matter of fact that online business is not just a niche anymore. It's part of the business itself. So any kind of brand needs also to take care what's being said online about them. Even though customers do not relate directly or speak directly to brands, they talk about brands with other friends, colleagues, and so it's
Mm-hmm.
very important for brands to be able to listen what's being said online and to be present constantly, of course.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the last time you probably got on a plane and traveled, and
Hmm.
you look at the reviews of different airlines. Some
Oh
airlines
yes.
have amazing reviews. They have, people have said just wonderful things about them.
Yeah.
And then you have other airlines that have
Yes.
terrible reviews, but then you look and you go up to the service counter or the ticket counter, and what is being said online actually matches currently
Hmm.
their actual service level. So there's definitely that correlation there between what you have, um, that you have face to face with
Yes.
that brand as well as online. So yes.
Yeah. In fact, a couple of years ago, I went to the United States and I took two different airline companies, and one of them is famous for their very good customer service level,
Hmm.
and I really appreciate it. It was true. So was not just a promise. I really had a very good experience, as a very good customer experience. The staff was very kind, efficient. Flight was on time. Any kind of information before booking online and after booking was clear and was made in a very timely manner. So I was really satisfied about that.
Well, that's good because you know what? I took a flight last year,
Uh-oh.
and I went and used Allegiant,
Uh-oh.
and uh, and I had booked a ticket with them, had flown with them before, and 2 days before my flight, I had to cancel it, or I had to
Oh.
cancel it, and I had bought travel insurance with Allegiant.
Oh.
And what happened is that it took me 5 phone calls over the course of 2 days on hold from anywhere from a half an hour to an hour where
Mm.
I couldn't reach someone. And by the fifth phone call, I gave up because my flight had then taken off.
Mm.
And so I had bought travel insurance, and getting on the phone 5 separate times, business owner or not, that's 5 hours out of my
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
that I spent. And when I went online to look at Allegiant's Yelp
Oh.
page, that airline has terrible reviews.
Oh, really?
their Yelp profile has a 1 or 2 star rating, which is classified as poor, and there's a terrible thing said about the airline.
Yeah.
So that to me again showed that what's happening from their customer service standpoint offline is also happening is coming up and showing up online.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's something that you think about when you asked about being able to should brands take their online reputation seriously? Absolutely, they should. Yes, but it sometimes starts though with changing the customer service model of that company. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. So we're back once again to customer service, and I'm so happy about that.
I bet.
Yeah. So, how do you see, Carly, the development of online reputation management? Is there any specific industry that can take advantage from it?
When you think about that, it's the service industry. So surprisingly enough, a lot of people think it's just for restaurants. And Yelp actually did a study, or it was posted on their website, that doctors, lawyers, and household service providers are where people go to, meaning Yelp, in order to find out whether or not they want to use them as a practitioner or as whatever service they need provided for their home. So it's definitely, I see more and more for people or brands in the service industry, more so than say the B2B.
Right. B2B rather than B2C, you mean?
So it's for B2C,
right.
Business to consumer versus business to business.
All right. Okay, that's clear. Thank you. Let's change a bit the topic. You have also an extensive speaking experience, Carly. What are the most frequently asked questions that you received about online reviews or in general?
There are usually 2 groups of people that I get that the questions kind of come from. Companies whose reputation has been tarnished by a handful of unhappy customers and they're losing sales is the first group. The other is those who don't currently use Yelp or other online review sites, or maybe they have online reviews, but they don't know how to use it as a source of referral. And so those questions come from 2 different angles. The questions that pertain to the first, the tarnished reputation online, is, how do we increase our star ratings? How do we push down negative reviews on Google so they don't show up on page 1? We have a great reputation offline. I had a client that got on the phone with me, or they became a client, and said, we have this great stellar reputation offline, but online we just can't seem to push the dial or move the dial and get a higher star rating or get more positive reviews. On the flip side, the group that wants to make money is that I had a lady email me through LinkedIn yesterday and say, you know what, I'm a hairdresser. I have all these positive reviews on Yelp. How do I use it in order to be able to, make money, use it as a source of referrals? So those are usually the general questions that I get asked between those 2 groups. And they're from, again, small business owners to, your executives for Fortune 500.
Right. So it sounds that are both interested prospects that desire to, have, to increase their business. So it's good business for you as well, Carly. When you receive such questions. So.
Absolutely. And I think at the end of the day, it's being able to help someone in order to be able to navigate in an area where not a lot of people know how to increase those star ratings, because there's not a lot of information. So it's an area that I'm very passionate about, and I love talking with business owners or executives in how to make that happen.
Right. Right. I'm so glad about, the development of this nice conversation that we're having, and a bit sad because we're moving towards the end of it. But I have a couple of questions for you. Yeah. What are your next projects, Carly?
Well,
it's not a secret, of course.
No, it is. It's not a secret. A lot of what I do is consulting to mid to large size businesses. So, while Yelp has been around for many years, not many companies seem to be able to navigate it to use it effectively. So I wanted to be able to create an affordable way that small businesses, marketers and really anyone who relies on the internet to generate sales and leads. So I was able to replicate what I've done in the past 5 years and help more businesses gain control of what's being said about them online, specifically Yelp, and then also to use Yelp as a profit generator. Because Yelp is not going anywhere. They have traffic. Last year had 168 million people, so unique visitors, so let's just say people, visit their site monthly. So the project that I just launched last month was Yelp Help training for small businesses, and that's what I'm still continuing to promote, and that was a number of months, if not even close to a year, getting ready to launch. And so that just launched.
That's interesting. Are you going to launch it only online or physically, visiting clients?
Right now, it's an online training program which walks through. It will walk you through 5 different modules. So they're pre-recorded modules, and then there's cheat sheets, as I call them, to be able to help you with that as well. I haven't yet decided about whether or not to take it and do some speaking on it as well, or consulting, but we'll see. You never know.
Right. Yeah. So just stay tuned and see what's happening.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Carley. So tell us where we can find you online. And also, after your response, I will add all the links to your social profiles in the post that I will be posting on LinkedIn, of course.
Great, thank you. So you can visit me at www.kkinternetmarketing.com. You can tweet me at Carley Bakker. So if you have any online reputation management or Yelp questions, I'm happy to answer them on Twitter.
Yeah, that's fine. That's excellent. That's excellent, Carly. So I'd like to thank you very much for this very insightful podcast interview. It was very interesting for me to listen about how online reputation not only is important, but how can it be leveraged to help brands to increase their business, or to help them just come out from a very big, dangerous hole of losing customers. So thank you very much for your time and for being with us. Just before saying bye-bye, let me tell that this post will be published on my LinkedIn profile, and the podcast itself will be embedded in it. And all my podcasts, my social antipasti podcasts, are on iTunes and also on Spreaker.com. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.